Morning, dear friends. Fisher here. Today we continue with our beautiful stories, The Power of the Spirit by ALFRED HOSP, also known as Freddy in the book. And today Bruno is giving a talk to the people around him, and then he explained why, and he drink black coffee and also smokes cigarettes and camel cigarette to be exact, because people are concerned about it. And then we all know smoking cigarette is very bad for health. And then people wonder if Bruno's promoting health and promoting the divine healing, why he himself smokes cigarette and drink like heavy black coffee. And then we all know smoking cigarette, and there's no argument about smoking cigarette bad for health, and then drinking many cups of coffee, and it's not good for the health either, because caffeine can be addictive, and also the caffeine causes constipation and to lots of people if they consistently having lots of caffeine, and then they'll disturb the endocrine system. And then Bruno give a reason, and that is, you, dear friends, absolutely cannot imagine what kind of evil things I have to see, hear, and first and foremost, smell as well as taste. When I am standing in front of people who are seeking help, this has very little to do with bodily hygiene. A freshly bathed person can come in and still diffuse the evil they have on them, which on the spiritual plane is a beastly stink. In order to be able to endure and neutralize all of this, I need the bitter taste of black coffee on my tongue, and similar connections exist for me with regard to smoking. The tobacco smoke masks the exhalation of evil that continuously assails me in the communities. Besides this, holding a burning cigarette in my hand provides an exceptionally good cover for the way in which I hold my fingers, which on certain occasions I hold in a particular way for quite other reasons that have something to do with the transmission of the divine power. Just take a good look sometime, and you will see at once that the position of my fingers is always changing. How would that look then if I were not holding a cigarette? Pretty daft, what? So here, basically Bruno was talking about in the spiritual perspective, and then the evil smells. Any evil energies, entities, it smells, it stinks. It's like a beastly stink. Have you ever gone to the zoo when you were little? And I went to the zoo with my mom when I was a very young boy. And then normally when you go to the open area, have a giraffe or some deers, even bears, because you're so far away from them. And then that was okay. And then you don't smell anything. But when you go inside, I remember very clearly there was tigers. There was probably a dozen tigers in the zoo. And then there was inside, there's a big thick glass and metal wires, metal cages. So, and then even though it's sealed by the heavy glass, and then as soon as you enter the internal, the indoor section, and then you smell, it was so stinky. And then I asked my mom, why is that? Why is it so stinky? It smells so awful. My mom say, oh well, because the tiger just pee and poo there. So and then I see people cleaning up, but it's still very stinky. So that is the beastly stink I ever experienced in my life which is the indoor section of the tigers, all the tigers. There's no lions there. There were tigers, big and small. So, and then imagine, so Bruno was having the similar issues. So he's explained it. So whoever come to the community hours will carry lots of evils, lots of very bad energies, very bad entities attached to them, and then they smells. So in order for Bruno to be able to endure and neutralize this kind of smells and taste, and then he need like a black coffee and to have a coating on his tongue. And this explains why Bruno drinks heavy coffee. So because we can't smell each other, not too much, but limited to the body odors, and then but Bruno can smell your soul. That's a problem, because he can see, he can hear, he can taste and smell what we can't. So, and then if you can't do that, and then you can't imagine like what's the effect to the one who can. It's very simple. Some people can see spirit, and then they have very little nerve, and then they get so scared. And then most of us, we can't see spirit. So even though we are scared of them, because we can't see them, so we don't get that scared, do we? No, we don't. So that is what's happened to the human beings. But I have an experience of my co-workers. One lady I know, she's full of stress. I know, I don't want to judge anybody, but it's just my observation. And then one co-worker, and she's in her 40s, and I could tell, like, through her eyes, she doesn't have a good intention against other people. There probably lots of like bad things and bad entities may be attached to her. I cannot tell because I cannot see how many of them, but what I observe through her eyes is she doesn't have a much good intention about you. She doesn't believe in good chunk of good. And also her body smell, she smokes cigarette, there was a lot of stress. But when I was around her, it's just her body odor is so terrible. That kind of like odors, I don't know if others co-workers experience that, and then nobody ever complain or nobody ever mentioned to it. But to me, it just smells very, very bad. It's mixed with stress and cigarette and some kind of others evil smells. It just smells so bad. And then I didn't like to be with her, to be near her. But as you work together, so sometimes, well, you can't avoid, you have to work together. You have to make your dollars. So that's I could well imagine like what's happened to Bruno here. Had to deal with a bunch of people. Everybody almost everybody is full of like not full of, in some degrees have some like evil energies, or some stinks in some ways, more or less. So it's pretty hard job for Bruno to work with all those like sick human beings, because he has to bear so much of our evils. And then also Bruno mentioned about cigarette smoking, and then that stopped the escalation of evils that assails him in the community. So basically it's creating a barrier. And then Bruno mentioned before, his body is very resistant to cigarette, and then he can give it up anytime. And also the cigarette smoking give a cover to his fingers when he needs to put his fingers in the certain positions to transmit divine energy to the people, maybe in America, maybe in Asia, in other continents of the world. So holding a cigarette makes the transmission of divine energy of his fingers looking very natural. So it was a good cover for him. And then how the way it works, we don't know. So whether his fingers pointing up down, left or right, how the way it works, I don't know. And Bruno, according to all the books, and then I read the story, I haven't heard anything how the way his fingers work to transmit divine energy. So that leave to our imagination. Okay, dear friend, wish you have a good day and God bless.